Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. Since we are in a little bit of a wrestling kick on the channel and I covered Monday Night Raw, I decided that I would go ahead and check out AEW for this week of April 6, 2022. It was a pretty stacked card right off the bat. We had Christian Cage versus Adam Cole meeting for the first time ever in AEW, and it was a pretty solid technical matchup. I mean, you gotta love Christian Cage. For as long as he's been around, he's still as solid as whatever. He's probably one of the most smoothest technical wrestlers out there, and he knows how to get people over. He knows how to make people look like $1,000,000. And Adam Cole, he's Adam Cole, baby, as it would say. So this show took place from Boston, and they were completely into this match. It was like a pay-per-view quality match that kicked off the show, which is what I would have expected out of Raw after WrestleMania, but instead we had a women's tag team match as the first match. I get it. You know what I mean? I get it, but AEW Dynamite this week did a banger job of putting Christian Cage versus Adam Cole right at the gate, and it was a really good matchup. Very fun to watch. At the end of it, we got a promo between Hangman Page challenging Adam Cole to a Texas street fight next week. That's actually pretty cool. So, actually, it's in Rampage next Friday in Texas, I believe. So it'll be at Rampage. So it looks like they're focusing on boosting up the numbers for Rampage, which is fine by me. Texas Street Fight will be fun. Again, there was some good stuff, good healing by Cole. I think at one point he spit at Christian Cage and then like sucker punched him out of it. And then there was a few other, pretty cool spots. For example, he hit the boom knee but didn't take the knee pad down. So it kind of added to the story where at the pay-per-view he didn't do it to Hangman Adam Page, and that's why the finishing move didn't work. It was like light storytelling. If you would have like looked into it a little bit deeper, you'd have seen it. Next up, we had the long-awaited debut match of Samoa Joe on AEW. He faced Max Caster, who's awesome on the microphone. I always love the freestyles that they do. This was an Owen Hart Foundation men's tournament qualifying match. So with this win, it was pretty short. There was some good stuff on Max Caster's quote. I think one of them was, when we were beating them in the ratings, he was their champ. So it was reference to Joe being the NXT champion on the Wednesday Night Wars. Pretty good, quick, short little match. Solid. It wasn't like a banger by any means, but it did the job. It got Samoa Joe over. Good comeback. I'm a little worried for Joe's health, but if he's good enough to be cleared for AEW, then I hope he just takes it easy. You could tell he's a lot more slower and solid in the ring. I guess he's taking care of his body. He's a little bit more smoother. He's not rushing into stuff. So, yeah, and it always scares me when I see a muscle buster ever since Tyson Kidd getting injured a few years back from it. Next up, we had a short match. It was the Captain Sean Dean versus Sean Spears. So the Battle of the Seans. Sean Spears got a brand new, opening entrance to the way he did his thing. Afterwards, we had continuation of a storyline between Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt. Well, actually, that was before that. I'm getting twisted around. Samoa Joe won. Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt did a promo against Joe, setting up a potential feud between them, hopefully in Ring of Honor. Who knows? But after the Sean Dean and Sean Spears match, we had an upset. Sean Dean won again, so that's a win over MGF and Sean Spears. I think it was pretty good little win right there. Honestly, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what they do with Sean Dean, because he's usually I wouldn't say an enhancement talent, but somebody that does put over a lot of the upper card, like upper middle area type of people. But the fact that they're actually using him in an involvement with Wardlow and MJF, hopefully he gets a little bit of a rub from that, because Wardlow's getting over huge. I mean, he came out at the end of this match, caused a distraction, which caused the match for Sean Spears. So over this, we had a quick promo with Jade Cargill. I believe there was also one with Eddie Kingston and LAX, and then just furthering the storylines along. A little bit of a lower, slowdown period for the night, because they were throwing some banger matches left and right. I guess they kind of slowed it down a little bit. Then we went to the tables match with the Hardees and the Butcher and the Blade. A fun little match. There was some pretty scary bumps, though, more particularly the one where they suplexed Matt and they were both like on the guardrail, or at least the Blade was, and the Butcher was like kind of like one leg up, and Matt took a suplex onto the, there was ring mats, but I mean, at his age, yikes, he's still sacrificing a lot. So I got to applaud the marbles and the cojones that Matt Hardy has. Ever since he's reunited with his brother, I feel he's kind of had a renewed sense of motivation. You can really tell the difference now that he's out there. You could see that he actually looks like he's enjoying himself. He wants to try and stuff. And Jeff Hardy with a dive off the freaking top of the ladder. I wouldn't say that this was the most crisp tables match ever out there. It seemed like there was a little bit of I guess kind of like miscommunication at times, but for the most part it did its job. It was effective with the win, sent the crowd home happy. Just for the age of the Hardys, I don't know how often they could be doing tables matches like this. It worries me a little bit seeing Jeff Hardy jumping off of something tall every week. This isn't 1999 anymore, but he's the professional and expert for years and decades, and if he feels comfortable, fuck it. The fans are loving it. On top of that, we had a segment after that where Andrade and the Andrade family office came out, but Sting scared them off with the bat. Andrade did the classic, putting the valet in front of him as a shield thing, and it got some good heat. I am liking the Sting and Hardy connection being put together. After this, we had a women's match. This was an Owen Hart Foundation women's tournament qualifier. Sheeta versus Julia Hart. It was actually pretty competitive, surprisingly enough. I didn't think Julia Hart would have had as much offense as she did in this match, but I guess, you know what? They are giving people the spotlight when it comes to this tournament. Julia Hart, still, she seems pretty new to the business, still green, still learning. So there was a couple times in the match where it seemed like it was, I guess, a little, lackluster as far as the crowd buying into it. They weren't as energetic as, even the tables match or the Adam Cole and Christian Cage match. But it did its job. It got Julia Hart over, when she sent Brian Pillman Jr. and Garrison to the back, and she was like, hey, I've got this. That kind of helps, establish her stronger in a way. And then we also had Serena Depp come out and stare down her after the match. They've been kind of feuding for a bit, so continued that. It was an okay match. I'd give it a C rating. And then we got into the main event, which, man, for 2 hours, it flew by. And that's the difference. That's one thing that I did say, that the problem with Monday Night Raw is it's 3 hours. And at times it just feels like a slog to watch and get through, and I fall asleep. With Dynamite, NXT, and SmackDown, and even Impact, I'm never dozing off because they just fly by. Anyways, FTR and Young Bucks for the Ring of Honor and AAA tag team titles. What a freaking match. Now, I'm not one to really like high spots and spotty wrestling and stuff like that, but FTR is more of like my style. Old school, gritty, ground and pound, technical style. You combine that with the high spot wrestling with Young Bucks, and you get magic. This was probably the best match I've seen in 2022 so far. Hands down, with the Seth Rollins and Cody match last weekend. Really close to it. But as far as tag team wrestling goes, my God, this had it all. There was one spot where one of the FTR guys was going to make the hot tag, which is where you tag out and then the guy comes to make his comeback. And then the other Young Buck came up and super kicked the guy, so they didn't make the tag. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you go back and you watch it, it was the only spot where he's crawling to make the tag, and right before he tags out, the guy gets super kicked. That screamed amazing tag team drama right there. That was a great fucking spot. This match had it all. They hit all their signature moves, all their finishers, and then even FTR hit some of the Young Bucks finishers and stuff. And it was just a fun fucking match. Like, this was probably one of the best AEW matches I've seen actually all year, but also one of the best wrestling matches I've seen, period, in all wrestling in 2022. So FTR is on fire now, guys. These guys are probably the best tag team in wrestling right now, straight up. And this is coming from somebody that is involved, on a lower level indie wrestling type of aspect. These guys are fucking solid. These guys are great. They're on their fucking A game. And I think when the next matchup happens, the stakes are going to be raised much higher. So I'll say this week's Dynamite, it went by pretty fast. The first match was fucking great, Cole and Christian, and the last match was fucking amazing, but the rest in the middle was just kind of lackluster. And I think this is one of the dilemmas with AEW, is that they have star power. They have guys like Christian Cage, Adam Cole, the Hardees, FTR and all this, but there's like a sense in the middle card where some of these mid-carders, they still kind of don't have an identity yet. Like Butcher and Blade, great, excellent wrestlers. It just didn't feel like the chemistry was there with the Hardys. And I don't know if that's attributed to maybe the gimmick, the tables match, or maybe just the age of the Hardys or whatever. Nothing wrong with any of these competitors and stuff, but it really feels like Dynamite, for the most part, usually has like a banger beginning and a banger end, but then sometimes in the middle, it struggles a little bit. But I think that's a lot of the ironing out that a lot of the inexperienced roster has. A lot of these guys, I would probably be in the same exact fucking boat. You're out there, you're not used to wrestling TV style matches, which are angle based. They lead usually to angle development. There's certain key factors that you have to do in it, especially being pressed for time. You have your cues, stuff like that. I feel that it's still a lack of inexperience in the mid card to where these guys are still learning, and it kind of shows, especially in the women's matches, like tonight's. But it's slowly but surely coming around. Hopefully the agents, the older experienced guys that are there, like the Dean Malenkos and the Arn Andersons, are really helping to produce the matches. But a definite good beginning and a definitely good end. That last match made up for kind of like the meh, the so-so C+ middle of the episode. So fantastic. Way better than what Raw was, for sure. But they still have a long ways to go in the middle of the shows on Dynamite. Usually they got to get a real solid middle of the show crew, like a couple of maybe 4 guys to be the middle. I think the middle match should be just as strong as, if not stronger than, the beginning and the end of the show, in my opinion. But I enjoyed it. Pretty solid. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching.